What's up, everybody? Today we're in Hollywood. No, not that Hollywood. This Hollywood. And if this is your first time checking out the channel, welcome. I cover anything and everything related to moving to or living in the Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, Pompano Beach, Miami, anywhere in South Florida, this whole area. So if you're not already subscribed, you're gonna wanna go ahead and do that because I'm dropping videos every week on what it's like to live here. And yes, I am a licensed realtor here in the state of Florida. So just as much as I love making these videos, I love even more to help you with your real estate needs. So this number and email that's popping up right here, that's how you can get a hold of me. Feel free to reach out at any time. I'd love to help you in any way that I can. With that being said, let's talk about Hollywood, Florida. I'm gonna try to get through this one quick because I'm roasting out here. If you haven't heard, we have been having record heat here in Florida. I mean, it's definitely at least 100 degrees right now. So if you see me wipe off my face, that's why. But let's get into it. Hollywood let's start with proximity, like we would follow with the Fort Lauderdale Explained series, proximity, style, and cost. So Hollywood is southern Broward County. It's not the southernmost city. Hallandale Beach is just south of it. Then you have Dania Beach north of it, and then Fort Lauderdale north of that. So pretty much divided by the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, hence the name. But this is a big city in Broward County, probably one of the top 3 biggest cities in the county. Got about 150,000 people. And just like everywhere else in Florida, it's got a ton of traffic, especially on 95 on the highway exits around Hollywood Boulevard, Sheridan. You tend to see a lot of traffic back up at those highway exits. And just like Fort Lauderdale, you have US 1, which runs north and south all the way on the east side of Hollywood. Then you have I-95, which kind of runs more through the middle, and then you have the Turnpike, which runs out a little bit more west. That's where you're going to tend to find a lot less traffic on the Turnpike as usual, just because of the fact that it costs money. And for public transportation, just like the rest of the cities in Broward County, it's pretty good. I mean, for a city in Florida, it's pretty good. The busing system's pretty good. There isn't a Bright Line train station in Hollywood. You're either going to have to go to Fort Lauderdale or to Aventura, which Aventura is south of Hallandale Beach. It's actually the first town in Miami-Dade County. So no Bright Line in Hollywood, but you do have the Hollywood train station with the Tri-Rail and the Amtrak. And just to quickly get into some of the schools in the area, this is all Broward County schools. Just to let you guys know, everything in Broward County, it's not like there's different school districts throughout the county. The entire county is all Broward County schools. So as far as Hollywood goes, you have a couple 8s, 9s, and 10s in elementary and middle school. You have Beachside Montessori, which is a 10 out of 10 that's close to downtown Hollywood. And then you have the high schools, which tend to get a little bit lower, which is pretty normal for out here in the Fort Lauderdale area. But as always, I'll leave a link to greatschools.org so you can do your own research. And it's also worth noting that for jobs, one of the top industries in Hollywood is healthcare. You have Memorial Regional Hospital, which is, I think, number 18 in the entire state of Florida, and nationally ranked number 2 for children's specialties. And then of course you have the tourism and hospitality industry here in Hollywood with, the Hard Rock Casino, which we'll get into that. And then you also have the boardwalk, which we will get into also when we talk about style. So getting into style, Hollywood is your typical city. You're not really gonna see like a downtown skyline. You have the skyline on the ocean with the high-rise condos, but Hollywood's actually, it's kind of, it's got everything. It's an older city. You do see a lot of homes built in the 50s and 60s. But just like Fort Lauderdale, it has everything. Condos, high rises, single family, townhomes, multifamilies. You just don't tend to see a lot of new construction. There is a pretty good nightlife scene in Hollywood, whether it's the downtown Hollywood area on Hollywood Boulevard, where you'll find some lounges, clubs, bars, restaurants, things like that. Then you obviously have the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, which is the famous guitar hotel. That kind of gives you the Vegas experience here in South Florida. Vegas, or if you're from the Northeast, it gives you the Atlantic City experience. Definitely a top tier casino. And then you also have the boardwalk. So this is especially for all my people from the Northeast, mainly New Jersey. If you're familiar with the Jersey Shore, you know about the boardwalk. So Hollywood is the only area, at least in South Florida, that I know of that actually has a boardwalk. Most of the beaches down here, what it looks like is you have all the restaurants and hotels on the west side. Then you have A1A, and then you have the beach on the opposite side. Well, Hollywood's not like that. Hollywood has everything on the boardwalk. And just for that reason alone, it's probably my favorite beach out here. Definitely like it better than Fort Lauderdale Beach. It's just got a different vibe. So that's definitely a pro about living in Hollywood. There's also something called Arts Park Circle, which is actually just a traffic circle that's in the intersection of Hollywood Boulevard and US 1. But it's about 10 acres big. There's a lot of stuff in there. There's an amphitheater in there. There's parks, a splash pad, arts pavilion. They hold events in there. So that's something pretty cool to check out. And earlier, like I mentioned about the homes, how you, just like Fort Lauderdale, you have a mix of everything. Some of the more popular neighborhoods in Hollywood are going to be Hollywood Hills, Hollywood Lakes, and Emerald Hills, just to give you the top three, probably in my opinion at least. And I'm going to show you some footage of those neighborhoods right now. Moving on to price or cost of housing. Very similar to Fort Lauderdale, with a median price point of about $526,000. The one cool thing about Hollywood is that you can find cheaper housing here for single family homes than you can in Fort Lauderdale. So you can get a starter home in Hollywood for around $300,000. Now it's probably going to be very small, maybe a little bit older. Going to be in one of those older sections of towns where you're going to see a lot of the street names after presidents. Yes, if you look on a map in Hollywood, a lot of the street names here are named after presidents. So my point is, though, is that you can find very affordable living in Hollywood for a single family home, whereas in Fort Lauderdale, you're kind of looking more in the $400,000 to $450,000 range for a starter single family home. That's going to probably be the same thing in Hollywood for closer to $300,000. And as far as a cap goes on those homes, you're not going to find like $20 million, $30 million mansions here like you would in Fort Lauderdale. I think the highest priced home that I just saw recently sell was about $5 million for an intercoastal waterfront property. And then of course you have your condos on the beach. So you have some really famous buildings in this area like the Diplomat and Hyde. And one of the cool things about Hollywood is that even in the condos, you can find very affordable living, in the $200,000 to $300,000 range. And then if you're looking for something 55 and over, you're looking as low as maybe $100,000, $120,000. But just like the single family homes, you can get as high as $4 or $5 million for an oceanfront penthouse. And one other cool thing about Hollywood that I don't want to forget to tell you is that I service this area, and this number and email right here is how you can get a hold of me. So if you have any questions or you're planning a move down here, feel free to reach out. We'll see if I can help you. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll catch you on the next one.